What is going on, Locks Mob, and welcome back to the Locks DFS NHL Breakdown. I am your host, Narang, and I'll be breaking down this 11-game main slate we have on tap on Tuesday, January 8th on DraftKings. It's an awesome slate, so I'm really excited to get into that. Before I jump into that, though, if you guys do want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at ReallyAddy right here. This is where you can keep up to date. I tweet about NHL, NBA, NFL, all that good stuff. Sports bets as well, I tweet a ton about. We're coming off a massive night yesterday. We won on FanDuel. I think all members basically cashed on DraftKings because the cheat sheet was money. We were really overexposed to some of those San Jose guys, to St. Louis one with Braden Shen and Jaden Schwartz. So it was an awesome day. Sports bets also went 2-0. We had the over in Calgary, Chicago over 6.5, and then we had San Jose, the spread -1.5 at +120. So they went 2-0 plus a couple units as well. Brings us to 6-0 plus almost 6 units over the past 2 days, which is awesome. So we're doing a lot of cool things over here at Locks. So definitely come check us out if you haven't already. But yeah, let's jump into the slate though. So I was already recording the slate, and then I got like 2 phone calls and had to cut the recording and restart. But so basically how I'm going to break down the slate is, since it's an 11-game slate, we're just going to jump through a few of the missed prices on DraftKings that I see. Not all of them. I'm going to save some for our members, but I will jump through a few that I see. A few pieces of injury news and where we can move from there. And then we'll get out of here. So starting at center, we got the usual crop of guys in the high price option, but for me, I'm not too interested in paying up over here. I think there's a lot of value in this mid 6 to 7K range. I think Evgeny Kuznetsov, Nicholas Backstrom is injured for this game, so this first line of Washington consists of Evgeny Kuznetsov, Alexander Ovechkin, and Tom Wilson. I think even before that, they were switching up the line, so Backstrom was back on that second line with Oshie and Vrana, as you can see. So I really like Kuznetsov at 6'7" if he's skating with Ovechkin again. Obviously, he correlates on that first-team power play. So I think there's great value in getting him. He is a guy who's shooting the puck a lot more this year. One of those true breakout two-way studs. So I think getting him at that price is very viable. A guy that we had yesterday that I think I'm going to just go back to until his price comes up is Tomas Hertl. He's sitting at 5.8K. One of the more lethal offensive players on this San Jose Sharks team. He's skating on the third quote-unquote line with Evander Kane, but they are the line that is seeing the most time on ice the past couple games. I can pull that up for you guys. But yeah, so we're seeing Tomas Hertl skate, roughly 20 minutes a night with Evander Kane, and with a guy with his shot rate that correlates on power play 1, which is a lethal San Jose power play. San Jose obviously projected for 3.9 goals, like that's the most on the slate. So you want to be overexposed to them. Ideally, they're defenders, but these wingers are very, very cheap. Their centers are very, very cheap. So love Tomas Hertl. And then the last guy is a guy that we were on yesterday, and that's Braden Shen. Braden Shen is sitting at 4,300, which is just an absolute horrible mispricing. I've seen this guy priced around 6K when he was on this same line with Schwartz and Tarasenko a couple years ago. This line's been dominant. Been dominant in the past. They've looked dominant since they've been together. They were great in this last game. Shen scored. Schwartz picked up a couple assists. Tarasenko scored. And their prices didn't move at all. It should be a fairly low event game versus Dallas. It's a 5.5 over/under. Both teams are projected for around 2.7, 2.8 goals. Both teams are fairly good defensively, but I still think getting St. Louis 1 at home. We know Ryan O'Reilly, his line is going to be the checking line, so he'll probably have to be chasing around Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn and those guys, which should leave Shen, Tarasenko, and Schwartz to kind of pick on the depth of Dallas, which is a spot that we want exposure to. So definitely interested in him at 4.3. Let's move on to winger though. So the high price winger, obviously it kind of begins and ends with Alexander Ovechkin. If you can afford him, he's my top option at winger. Tonight goes obviously. Washington playing Philly, they're projected for a very healthy 3.6 goals. Not a lot of movement in that game. But obviously I'm not going to spend too much time on Ovechkin. He's the premier NHL DFS player just because of how often he shoots and how lethal his shot is. So if you can afford him, you should play him. But just for the sake of this video, let's scroll down here and talk about some value. So big news in Vegas is that Riley Smith is going to miss this game. He's 5.6K. He would be a good fit in this line. But because of this, Max Pacioretty is going to get the bump to the first line to skate with Jonathan Marchessault and William Karlsson. That is a very fantasy-friendly bump. Max Pacioretty at 5.3K, a guy who's been a DFS superstar in the past, and nothing has really changed. He still shoots the puck a lot. He was just getting a bit unlucky as far as shooting percentage goes. That has now regressed, and he's sort of putting up the points that we expected him to. Getting him at 5.3 with that first power play role is awesome. I think the price on Marchessault is actually great too at 5.8. I think both of those guys are very much in play at that position. That's the biggest news in Vegas. Like I mentioned with St. Louis, Jaden Schwartz and Tarasenko haven't seen a price change at all. So they're still respectively 4.8 and 5.6K for Schwartz and Tarasenko respectively. So both of those guys still extremely good values until their price comes up. And then the last guy I really want to talk about is the San Jose winger Evander Kane. As we've talked about, San Jose projected 3.19 total. Highest on the slate. They are on a back-to-back, but they're going against an Edmonton team that's very generous as far as expected goals against per 60 goes. And if we go San Jose and filter this by iCourse 4 per 60, we got Evander Kane fourth, but just up there. It's a kind of a cluster up at the top, but he's fourth on him. And expected goals 4 per 60 and an individual shooting percentage of around 8%. Not bad. This is a guy who's got a really high floor just on shot volume alone, and the fact that he's been skating close to 20 minutes a night. And just look what he's been doing on him. I mean, the guy's been on an absolute heater. So I'm definitely interested in going back to that well at 5.6K. And let's move on to defense. So defense, again, like I feel like I could just lock into defensemen every slate that they're on, and that is Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns. Without saying anything, if you just look at this iCourse 4 per 60, you see Erik Karlsson 19.63, Brent Burns with iCourse 4 per 60 over 20. Both these guys have fairly low individual shot percentages, so they are due for some good puck luck in the future. Both these guys should carry around 3 to 4% shooting rates. Both of them are sub 2. Erik Karlsson sub 1. Erik Karlsson just way too cheap, 5.8K. I think last night I recommended just starting your lineup by plugging in those two guys and Giordano and moving from there. I think tonight I'm in the same boat. No Giordano, obviously, but I think you just plug in Karlsson and Burns and sort of just move from there. They're by far and away the best two defensive options on the slate. Definitely the guys that I want to be exposed to personally. If we scroll down a little farther, there's good value on Shea Theodore at 4.2K. I like him. A guy that's been promoted to the first team power play role in the absence of Colin Miller. I can show you guys right here. Shea Theodore, as you can see, skating with Marchessault, Karlsson, and Pacioretty. Nate Schmidt has been more of an active defenseman. He's really seen the biggest boost since Colin Miller's been injured, but that's reflected in his price point. I believe that's come way up to 5.4K. So I think for value, 4.2K for Theodore is really not that bad, even though he hasn't been skating too much more than 17, 18 minutes a night. I still think that's really good value for him. And lastly, we'll talk about goalie. Again, look at your team. Whoever you have the most players from, play the goalie from that team. I'm going to say that every single video for the record. And in regards to what we're kind of dealing with, I do envision us being fairly heavy on some St. Louis, some Vegas, some San Jose. So any of those goalies work. We had Binnington in his, I think, third NHL start. But he's been nails at the AHL level, and he was really, really good yesterday. Blanking a good. I'm spacing on who St. Louis was playing. I think it was Philly. But he blanked a good Philly offense, held him to 0 goals, shut him out. So he's in play if he gets to start again. But honestly, man, just go with whoever you feel comfortable with and pray. So with that all being said, thank you guys for checking out this video. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at ReallyAddy. And as always, we're running that same giveaway. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this video. You'll be entered into winning a free NHL, NBA, or NFL season pass. But yeah, with that all being said, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Hope you guys win some money tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.